Drinking this album, listen to the blues. I think it would pair well, if only for you, 'cause it's album and brews. It's album and brews.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Album or Brews, the stickiest music podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Sarah, and I'm so good at being in trouble, but so bad at being in love.
Aww. I wish that I could swim and sleep like a shark. Maybe a baby shark. My name is Zach.
And my name is John. I'm really glad that we've all been doing this one at a time so that you all can hear as well. I was going to do the song you did, and I was like, no, we can't do the same song.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
It's okay. We love innovation.
Yeah.
We love uniqueness.
I was listening to another podcast, and they just did a bit where they did the intro for the whole hour instead of...
That's really funny. That's actually so
This would be a
funny.
great record to just do the intro for an hour instead of actually doing the show. John,
If we stay late enough, it will be the opposite of afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I'll feel
We
like
could
a
go
monkey.
Perfect.
We'll have to go see an orchestra. Thank you. Goodbye. No. John, we're super stoked to have you. John, a.k.a. Blake, a.k.a. b.lake. At Instagram, b.lake music. You're a local musician, you're a local producer, local audio engineer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So, yeah, I am a local audio nerd for all of the people that are, my friends and musicians. I've been doing it for a few years now. I kind of started my interest in audio playing in bands in high school. So I played in like pop punk bands a lot as a teenager. And I played in this band called This Week's Trend, which was sort of my entry into recording things. And we recorded one record, and like that whole weekend, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like I just had so much fun. It was at the studio called Bricktop, which still exists. It's much nicer now than it was. It's mostly like a metal studio now. But yeah, that's how I got into it. But yeah, I work out of a studio called Olmsted, sometimes some other studios, but that's kind of my home base. And I've recorded a variety of bands that in the local area.
Your own base?
Yes, our own base.
Yeah.
Boo! Get this guy out of here.
Gotta get all the dad jokes in.
This is the place.
Yeah, you've worked with so many past guests of the pod. You worked with OK Cool and Pink Squeeze, Tommy Kessler, Modern Dairy.
Calico Loco?
Loco?
Yeah, but Danny did come and play piano on a winter TV song. So I've not worked with the whole Calico Loco crew, but
Neither have we. We also just had Danny.
they're wonderful, super
Yes.
talented. So
Very, and a sweetheart.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
been
just a little Danny love.
yeah, I hope they hear it, honestly. No, it's been a blast. I feel like I've made a lot of friends. I've found a lot of community in this like music scene, and I'm really grateful that I've gotten to enjoy my passion kind of with other people.
Yeah, such a good city for it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chicago's the best.
It feels so grassroots. Like I feel like people think of like, oh, you should move to LA for music, and like that is a very selfish environment. I
Yes.
think
It's like a little more competitive, probably.
Yeah, I just think that breeds it a little bit. Whereas Chicago, there's more of like people supporting each other a lot.
Totally. Okay, sorry not to make this about my improv classes again, but I've been taking improv classes, and yes, and a friend of mine in the class, she is from England, and she's here just for this class, and wasn't sure if she was going to go to Chicago or LA or New York, because they're kind of institutions for improv in all three of those places. But she was like, I've noticed with Chicago, like people are in it like for the love of the game, versus people in LA or people in New York are just doing it like to be famous. Like people in Chicago.
Oh, it's not a means to an end. It's
it's like doing it for the craft of it and the community of it.
I could see that a lot in the music too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Just because Chicago's the best city in the universe. Duh.
Duh.
Durr.
Well, speaking of some of the best music in the universe, John, will you tell us about the record you picked today?
Yes. So I chose, the record is called 2, Roman numeral 2, and it's from the band Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Kind of this sort of lo-fi, alt-rock kind of thing from the 2010s that I really enjoy. led by, I think his name is Ruben. His last name is Nelson.
Yes, or Nielsen.
Nielsen.
I
Yes.
wasn't sure how to pronounce it.
I think you're right.
They're Swedish / from Portland, or not Sweden. Where was it from?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
yes.
Kiwis.
But I
knew
think
there
they
was a
like
Z in
got big in Portland. I think that's where he was
Auckland.
living. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, crazy deep cut about this band. You know what? It might be too early. It might be too
Oh.
early.
Drop it.
So, you know the band Whitney?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the guy that like sings in his falsetto a
Out of
lot.
Chicago, yeah.
He used to drum for Unknown Mortal Orchestra.
Oh,
Like in the
shit.
early days, and like when Whitney started, and this might reveal that I'm older than some of your people you've hosted, but when they started, they were like playing all these house shows, and like all of the whispering was like, oh, that guy's from Umo. That guy's from Umo. And then they like played all the stuff that ended up being like their first record. And also cool band, you know? Just
Yeah.
kind of interesting little tidbit.
Yeah. We
Interesting.
haven't done a Whitney record yet. I'd love that.
And cut from a
Yeah.
similar cloth. I was thinking before I learned that like someone was literally in both bands.
Yeah.
I was like, they do remind me of each other in a way.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. Like maybe Whitney's not so lo-fi and they're like a little bit more like sing-songy. or,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. But they're both, yeah, very cool.
Very cool.
Super
And
vibey.
you've got a very good beer picked with it. We tell us about that?
Yes. Okay. So are we going to crack it at the same time?
Yeah.
Should we crack it first? Or
Let's do
crack
it.
Okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Revolution Brewing. And I was like, we start doing like product
They don't pay
placement.
us
Yeah.
for it, so you don't have to tell it that good.
Work
Yeah,
as
like-
hard as you'd like to work for
Yeah.
free.
When the sun's beating down. And you're just looking for a vibe. No?
On a Monday night.
Yeah. No, we have the cold time from Revolution Brewing. Kind of my thought process on this is we're going to talk a lot about why I love the way that this record was recorded. And I think it's a cool flip on taking maybe a genre that we're familiar with, but through recording it in a weird way, it's kind of like a refreshing new take. And I think that the cold time is a refreshing new take on something like a High Life or Modelo or something.
Ooh, yeah. I
It's
like
so
that a lot. A
yum.
refreshing take on the lager.
Yes.
Delicious.
Mm.
It's exactly what you said. It's
It tastes like the Chicago River in a good way.
Yes.
Have you sipped?
That's-
From the river?
When you live in Chicago, you have
Whoa.
to have one sip.
That would be a
Shit, the
horrible-
CPD is coming from me.
I would dare say that you might throw up right away if you were to genuinely drink Chicago river water.
You
Yeah.
have to do a PSA, like, please do not drink.
Yeah.
You get some old maiden type of like plague.
I was talking about it like with my bandmates about the river show, and I was like, I could jump in, and they were like, "Don't jump in."
Don't do that.
It's
Like,
instant
do
staph
not.
infection.
Yes,
they're
yes.
like, yeah. So no jumping into the
It
river.
used to catch on fire back in the day. Did you know that?
Oh,
There used to be like so much like sewage,
Bullshit in
like,
it.
just crazy fumes and chemicals, and
I'm glad I brought it up at band practice because there was a strong consideration for a memorable jump.
Uh-huh. Which, like, it's a good story. You
Yeah,
know?
but the health insurance
But at
bills,
what
you know,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. At what cost, Aetna?
Right. At what deductible?
I'm sorry, this isn't the right podcast for that conversation.
well, before we get too much into the record, I have a very fun game.
Okay.
This is huge.
That I'm really excited about. I came up with the name first, and then
Classic.
the rules. Obviously, this game is called Unknown Mortal Kombat Orchestra.
Nice. Okay.
This is great.
Awesome. That was clever.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. And so I've got sound effects.
Great.
And you guys will have to guess if they are sound effects from an orchestra,
Sound of 6.
sound effects, or sound effects from the game Mortal Kombat.
This is huge.
You will be against each other.
All right.
Great. How much do you know about Mortal Kombat?
You know what? I actually like video games, but that is not a video game that I've played very much of.
Okay, this is huge because I also like video games, but have never played Mortal Kombat.
It's
So
like
this is good.
What kind of video games do you like?
Mostly like Mario Kart.
Nice.
Big Animal Crossing gal, big like Undertale gal. Been playing Cult of the Lamb. Like a lot of very story driven games.
Cult of the
I'd
Lamb,
say.
is that little side scroller one where you can like jump up and stuff?
No,
No.
Well, there is like some like hack and slash like combat, but you're also like a lamb and you start a cult, so it's like
Whoa.
resource management, but then also like hack and slash.
It's kind
cool.
of like Stardew Valley, but kind
In
of
a
creepy.
way, which I also
Oh,
love.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have reached perfection on Stardew Valley. Thank you very much.
Wow. Whoa. Wow. I didn't know we were sitting in royalty.
Sorry, a
apparently.
true gamer
Yeah,
is
yeah. Who's interviewing who right now?
Anyway, I know nothing about Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
And
It's
I know a little bit about the orchestra.
I know one character's name, Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
That's
You guys
huge.
might hear Sub-Zero today. I can't see the future.
Or we might hear a saxophone.
You might hear there aren't actually a saxophone in orchestras.
I'm fucked.
It was invented later than
Yeah.
uh,
There are some, but it's very select. It's
Yeah.
not. It's to be a classical saxophonist is like not a good place to be as far as like wanting a lot of work. Like you need
Yeah.
to do both, really, jazz and classical.
Dang.
yeah.
Shout out
Tough
to our classical
break.
sax player.
Yo,
Yeah.
shout out.
Mozart was like, "Get out of here," but some guys in the 1990s were like, "Get in here."
Yeah. The real heroes.
Yeah, smart too. Great wind instrument. Very pretty.
So, against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Do we like just shout out?
I'm
or
gonna
is there,
play
like, a-
just a second of it. So,
Okay.
Um,
Are we buzzing in? Are we like, is there an order that we're going to go in?
no, just the first person who wants to say it can
Okay,
go.
great.
Great.
Every man for himself.
Yeah. Is this Mortal Kombat or is this an orchestra?
Orchestra.
I heard a bit of a yelp in the back.
There was a yelp,
Which makes me
but there
think,
was like a timpani in there. There was like a.
I feel like this game is going to be harder than I think it is.
Maybe you're right about the yelp.
The
though.
yelp, the yelp, the yelp.
Are we a team? Maybe we're a team.
No, we're against each
Okay,
other.
okay, we're not a team.
It's Aries season. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna corrupt.
You can still
corrupt-
walk.
We're bringing
you can
the
still
collaborate
walk
with
stars
through
anybody.
your
into this.
logic if you want.
I will walk through my logic. I'm saying Mortal Kombat solely because of the yelp. If it was even a human or
I'll
whatever
stick with
yelp.
my first guess. I think I was wrong, but I'm gonna go with my gut.
You're going with orchestra?
Yeah.
Cool. John Point.
Whoa!
Yes.
Play more.
This is
What was that other noise?
This is
That was a good throw off.
Yeah.
That was a good throw.
I forget the piece, but it's like really soft and pretty.
Does it do like some strings?
and there's a lady sleeping in the audience.
like scared her.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, so you're
So
like
apparently-
masterminding this
Yeah,
shit.
there are memes like woven into the orchestra. You didn't just grab.
Oh,
Like,
you thought I
any-
was just gonna play orchestra music?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what you said you were doing.
I just told you it was a
Perfect.
sound effect
Okay.
of an orchestra.
Okay, you're so right. You're actually so
Nice.
right.
All right. All
Hey,
right.
all right, I'm locked in.
Go with your gut. Let that be a message to all of you listeners.
All right. Sound effect number next.
That's
Yeah,
Mortal
that's
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. That was very.
All right, 2-1.
Great.
I'm saying
That's
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat on that
Kombat.
too. Yeah, I mean,
All right, 3-2.
I mean,
You
there's
guys-
some
Clear
really-
fidelity difference
Yes.
happening here. I think that's an orchestra. Going with my gut.
I agree. It's orchestra.
Oh, man, I think it's 5-4 now. This is a lady doing a cartwheel while she's singing.
That's
Oh, wow.
crazy. Oh my god, is that Fergie?
Yeah, she's got nothing on Beyonce.
Okay, okay,
All right,
okay.
John up by 1.
Drawn it by one. It's Mortal Kombat.
I'm gonna go orchestra because I heard a timpani in the back. I think I did. I think so.
Okay.
You're going orchestra on this one?
I'm
think
going
so.
Donnie
Right.
from the Wild Thornberries.
Let's point for Sarah.
Great. For
There's
Donnie, right?
music back there though, right?
Yeah, wait, play it.
I have to find the exact time sample on.
I don't think there
Yeah, that was
was.
just
Wow.
a man. That was just a man yelling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just subconscious drums.
yeah. There's just always music in my head.
Whoa.
All right, I think
The
it's like
gets
5.
really heady for a
I think
second.
we're
Yeah.
tied.
I think it's 5-5 or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Now this is tough.
I'm going orchestra. That's too many people. Mortal Kombat's 1-on-1. Is it a choir? Does choir? Are we?
I think it's people cheering for the orchestra.
I am doubling down on the orchestra.
You guys are both going orchestra?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what the bit is, but they're just like playing quietly. And they all
Oh,
stand up and
nice.
yell.
That's fun.
I love that. I like it. I do enjoy the orchestral pieces that get a little bit more weird with
Yeah.
it. You know.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Still tie it up.
All right. 6-6.
Great.
Got a couple more.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that
Dang
was
it.
just that sounded straight from
It
like.
kind of sounded like a thwomp, though, a little bit.
I had a really fun time finding all these yells.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's so many of them. On
Well, you were
YouTube.
finding some of them when you came over here, and you were just giggling on my couch. And I was in the other room, so I couldn't hear it.
All right.
You clearly are trying to throw us off, but
Mhm.
You guys are too good.
I see through you.
I'm really proud of my first guess. Like I was, like,
Yeah. Oh.
oh, but then the random hearing timpani. It's okay. I'll redeem myself.
All right,
Yes.
this might be the last one for the win. Tied up.
Oh, this is really hard.
I think it's Mortal Kombat,
This is really hard, Zach.
but I don't think it's like current Mortal Kombat. I think it's like old Mortal Kombat from the like arcade game.
I think this is a weird orchestral performance piece, and I think the person doing the yelp has a mustache. Just a thought.
Whoa.
Those are your final answers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you? Is she right?
I wish Weird Al had a mustache.
It's Weird Al?
No!
This is Weird Al conducting
Oh!
the Junior Philharmonic Orchestra 20 years ago.
No way.
Wow.
That's really good.
That's really good.
Nice.
And look how he's dancing. It's so good.
Oh, wow. He's really grooving.
He's got
Yeah.
dancing legs.
His hips are going.
They don't lie.
They don't lie. Though I don't think he spoofed that song.
Hey, don't call it a comeback.
Oh no, he's got a mustache.
He has a
He's
mustache.
got a mustache.
Whoa.
2004, whenever this was.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Your mustaches. Right? That
Sorry,
sounds like
I
a
just
mustache.
received, like,
That was like
some
divine
message.
intervention.
Yes.
You're like, I'm getting essences of Weird Al.
Like, some psychic like input here. It's like I picture a man in a tuxedo with really wiggly legs.
For breakfast, he had eggs.
That's really good. Thank you guys for playing.
Well, good game.
Good game.
Unknown Mortal Kombat Orchestra. That one might come back for no reason.
That was really
Yeah.
fun. Zach.
That was a good one. I wasn't.
Very good.
I would not have thought about that spin on it. You must have just been sitting there like, what are we gonna do with this band name? Mortal.
Oh,
I was like, oh, I bet there's weird orchestra noises I could find that'll sound like Mortal Kombat. And turns out there's a ton.
and you sure goddamn
Yeah.
did. Wow.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
impressed. Hey.
Love a podcast that does its research. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. By research, you mean like 20 minutes on YouTube. Looking at weird videos.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk a little more about the record as a whole before we go track by track.
Let's freaking do that.
This is their second studio record.
Yes.
Signed to a brand new label. I don't know how the first one was received. Do you know much about?
So the first one was like this, like I feel like it was like an anomaly because it was the era of Bandcamp where people like really liked Bandcamp a lot. I think like people like it now, but I don't think it gets used very much.
Yeah.
But I think in the 2010s there was like an acknowledgement of Spotify being not great and people like buying more from Bandcamp than they do even now. And this album, the first album, was like a huge Bandcamp like hit. It was like a thing where it was like they didn't even necessarily push that hard to be like, I don't think they had like a big visual like rollout or anything like that. It was just like this sort of loved album. And then, yeah, the second one was received. Actually, no, I think the first one might have been reviewed by Pitchfork really positively. Maybe like an 8.
Oh,
I know
this one got a 7.3.
Okay.
Not
okay.
bad.
Yeah,
Hey, if you're on their website, they're I mean, you know,
you're doing something right.
they'll take great albums and say the worst things. And I'm like, you know what? You're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the first one I think it's definitely, I think a lot of people, I don't know how it was received. I actually didn't hear it until a few years after it existed. So it was introduced to me late. So yeah.
What made this record the pick for you?
Good question. Yeah. So when I got into Unknown Mortal Orchestra, UMO, I was in college and I've always been a fan of different variations of alternative rock music. And, you know, I grew up on like Arctic Monkeys and Caged Elephant.
So classic.
And like, who else? I don't know, a bunch of others. But like, so a lot of like,
Grizzly Bear was
Grizzly
a
Bear
big at this time too. Yeah,
Yes.
that I loved.
they're so adjacent to
Yeah.
them too, because they are like also a lo-fi sound, but it's like different. Like Grizzly Bear is like really like mid-rangey and like kind of weird reverbs on the voice, kind of echoes.
Something akin more to like MGMT maybe somehow, a little more electronic.
Yeah. But so two from Umo was introduced to me by a friend. I was playing in a band at the time. I was playing drums for a now defunct math rock band. It was this band called Duck Like Animals, led by
Very
my friend.
funny.
Yeah. Fun name. We would do weird, like funny duck related like posters all the time.
Love.
It was mainly led by my friend Levi Clinton, who great guitar player, and he was way more of like a person who appreciated like guitar tones that I think were like against the grain of what I knew at the time. You know, he was like a big Smashing Pumpkins person, which has like awesome guitar tones on their stuff. And he introduced this record to me, and I feel before I listened to this record, I didn't really. There are other bands that had done some of the lo-fi stuff or like weird. For those that don't know lo-fi, for like podcast pause, lo-fi stands for low fidelity, which means lower quality audio. So when people are doing lo-fi things, that's like they're intentionally making something sound shittier, but in
For an
like
aesthetic.
for an aesthetic, yeah.
Artistically shitty.
Yes.
By choice.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yes. So there are other bands that had done it, and I think it didn't connect with me that well. I didn't dislike it, but I even remember listening to like Black Keys records, which are like not lo-fi, but they're not like hi-fi rock recordings.
It's
Yeah.
not like hyper produced, or at least
Yeah.
not the earlier stuff.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
like that era coming out of like there was like the pop punk of that era, and that was like really pristine edited.
Yeah.
You know, and even a lot of like other rock bands of that era were very pristine editing. So I didn't like even like the Black Keys stuff at first. I was like, I would like this more if it was recorded well. And I think I just didn't really like get it until I listened to this Umo record, and I really started to connect with like, oh, these are cool musical ideas, but also the choice of how it's recorded is really changing the way we perceive it.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Is that something that you ever like bring into your own work, or is it something that you sort of like admire as a choice that someone else would make? And it's like, well, I wouldn't make that choice, but it's really cool that you did.
I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Like when I work with bands, I can't like, I'm trying to like talk to them about what they're envisioning. So when it comes to like how I process audio, I sort of try to let that discussion educate my decisions.
Yeah.
So like if someone's chasing a band that has no lo-fi, not chasing a band, but like they show me stuff and it's like not really lo-fi, then I'm not going to do it.
Right.
You know, I'd like it to be more in my music. I think it's like I'm trying to push myself further in that direction. I think sometimes I'm like afraid to. It's like maybe it's like the push and pull of wanting to be known as a person that's like high audio quality, but also wanting to like take this artistic chance.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I like politicianed the question where I like talked around it.
No, I get it though.
Like I
Yeah.
do want to use it, and I use it here and there. I think like as my music will progress, and we're kind of like working on this record that we're recording and gonna put out, and that's sort of part of my thought process. Is I'm trying to figure out what songs do I want to feel the way that like Umo's stuff makes me feel, and then other songs it seems like more of a clean sound would serve it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd like to group some of them together where some feel like maybe a little bit more pristine studio thing, and others feel more like I don't know, there's something about lo-fi that makes it feel nostalgic and like a gem that you've like discovered, you know?
Yeah. It's almost like a bunch of my background is in photography. So it's like intentionally shooting a magazine campaign like on a disposable camera, you know? Like
Yes.
it's intentionally like quote lower quality, but there's still, you know, this thought that's put into it, and it's like an active choice that's being made.
Yeah.
And
And even the quality of a disposable camera makes you think of like a time in your
nostalgic.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
I like to think about lo-fi as like something you gotta like pick up and like blow the dust off of it a
Yeah.
little bit.
Charming.
Like, it's like, oh, you're just a little.
Little relic.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many like photography and audio parallels. Like,
Oh
I
my God.
feel there's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because both are like capturing something that's in the meat world, like, in, like it's in the universe,
Yes.
and you're capturing it.
Yes.
World, like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, both are like
as opposed to the non-meat world. you
Well, yeah,
know,
like the digital space.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
the visual space, the auditory space. It's always like capturing something that happened in the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Capturing
yeah.
a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, we captured it in the moment, but now it's in the past.
Exactly.
Oh, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
And that's the
that
past.
Fleeting moment is gone.
I'm gonna actually freak out.
Hyperventilating.
This is like existential crisis.
Everyone take a deep breath.
Mm.
Cam, put some soothing music for us right now as we're...
Cam, can I have a quick affirmation about how my life is passing me by?
Speak to us, Cam.
Thank you.
Sarah, did you know this band at all before the episode?
Freaking no, I didn't. And I'm
No?
surprised
Oh, wow.
because
Whoa.
like 2010s like alt indie rock type beat like is so my jam.
Nice.
Like I love like I think maybe I leaned a little bit more dancey with it. Like I love a Foster the People. I love a Passion Pit. I love like I think of like a Mike Snow,
Okay.
an
Yeah.
MGMT, freaking that kind of thing. Yeah. I love that stuff. So, I mean, this probably like popped up on, I don't know, a Spotify Discover Weekly or my Tumblr feed or something at the time. But it was never something I like actively listened to until I was prepping for this record. And my goodness, what a pleasant experience.
Oh,
I was
great.
like, this is so up my alley.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I had known the song So Good at Being in Trouble.
Uh-huh.
And if you know me at all, it's like I'm not like a single song guy. Like I'm never someone who wears out a song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always like curated playlist or whole records at a time.
Yeah.
But this song in like 2014 or 15 when I discovered it was like a song I wore out.
Wow.
That's right around when I was, I discovered it at the same time.
And I was like, wow, like I can't think of like the last time a song I'd listened to as much as this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's cool. That's awesome.
So
the
did-
bass line is so, right when it's
We'll get into it, but I think it's like a perfect song.
Oh
It's
my
awesome.
God, this is so
Yeah.
exciting.
I'm glad that you feel that way.
But for whatever reason, I never got into the record. I probably listened to like the bands, like their top 5 and stuff. But,
Yeah. Oh, I get that.
Um,
I was that way with a lot of music.
Yeah.
As well.
But
Did
that
you
was-
feel like you were coming back to an old friend?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
Honestly,
10 years
same.
later.
Yay!
Yeah, when I was like
Sweet.
doing the research for this, I was like, oh, I'm like having memories of like the feelings I felt when I listened to this record. It was nice.
So good.
Yeah, we've had a couple 10-year anniversary records on the pod recently, and it's crazy.
It is.
Well, I feel like I had to choose something that I listened to a lot of. It's like
Totally.
there's some
Uh-huh.
records I like, but I feel like this one, because it's been in my life for so long, I've returned to it a lot. It's like a
Yeah.
frequent.
You gotta love records like that.
I think
Yeah.
that's a good way to go. Because you got to talk about it for a goddamn 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, it's hard to.
Well, we're also gonna talk about like Mortal Kombat a little, so
You're actually
Perfect.
so right.
Yeah.
And Weird Al.
And
We tend to shoehorn in Weird Al from
Uh,
time to time.
At 1 in 3 episodes, I bring them up.
Yeah.
I wish it was my
Perfect.
dad. So song number 1.
You could argue that I'm pretty white and nerdy, so it's like
we ready to get to the record?
Well, if
Anything
you're
else?
white and nerdy, you probably need to protect yourself from the
the
sun.
sun.
from this. Yeah, boom.
Zing.
There you go. Yes.
I wanted to play a mini game with this one, and I wanted to see how many indie movies we could list off with this song as how it starts when the credits start. Juno. Perks of Being a Wallflower.
500 Days of Summer.
Oh, Fire to the Summer's good.
Yeah. Well, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, that's
Very.
good. Sad, yeah.
You know.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Ooh.
Oh, I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Great Gatsby.
No.
Just kidding.
My brain just erased all movies.
Me too.
All the movies disappeared.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's delightful. It's a great way to start a record.
It is. So chill. I was like, immediately when I started listening to this, I was like, hell yeah, brother. Like, this is going to be a vibey little time.
Yeah.
It's such a pretty. All the guitar parts are so pretty in this album.
They're
like
are.
really melodic, but they're like finger picky and cool.
Yeah, dug it. I dug it. And then, like, again, sort of the like lo-fi aspect of it. There's like with that pretty guitar, it's just so like it feels like springtime. Like
Yes.
it's like just so idyllic.
Yeah, it feels like we're listening on a record, even though we're listening on digital. Like
Yeah.
that kind of like the little fuzz or something.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
opening does feel like the beginning of the vinyl record, where it like
Yeah.
kind of like starts up and then like
There's a little like. Pss, pss, pss. It's giving you a little ASMR.
A little crunchy. Which is like a crazy juxtaposition because the lyrics are like kind of sad. It was like kind of giving like depression.
Yes.
Which I was like, I get it.
Honestly, whole record. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know I was, like, I got into, like, I got, like, mostly through researching all the songs, and I was like, wow, I chose a pretty sad album.
Yeah, I forget if you said this on mic or not, but you were like, I'm not really like a lyrics person. Like,
Yes.
I was coming at this for like production and like musicality.
Yeah.
And like, I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I am not purely a lyrics person, but like, I don't play any instruments or anything. So I think that's just what I noticed first.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, geez. But also like valid. And also like, I feel like I have like reverse seasonal affective disorder. Like, I feel like my depression is the worst during the summer, which is it's such clownery.
Wait, so you're happy in the winter?
Pretty, yeah.
Wow.
Maybe
Whoa.
sleepy, but I
What
like
a
kind
life.
of thrive.
Wow.
Because
Whoa.
I'm just like, I think I love having the excuse
You're a
to
polar
like
bear.
make soup and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just read all day.
Your vitamin C's are off the chart.
But then, yeah, it's so like stupid because during the summer, everyone's like, hell yeah, brother, like let's go to the lake. And I'm like, sad for no reason. So I was like, wait, relatable.
It is a relatable song, right? It's like the feeling of isolation
Yeah.
is like what he's talking about. And it's kind of a dark feeling, but I feel like, I don't know, at some point in probably anyone's adult life, you go through those feelings of isolation. It could be
Yeah.
like you could be in a crowded environment and feel that way, or you could literally be physically isolated. And it's like a very human experience that is not fun.
No, not at
Yeah.
all. There
Oof.
could be 99 people in a room. That Lady Gaga quote. Anyway. Feeling isolated sucks.
Yeah.
Pretty guitar does not
Pretty guitar.
suck. How do you feel
Yeah.
about this, like, as an introduction to the record?
I think it's a pretty one. I think it's like it does a good job of opening us into like what the guitars are going to kind of do for a lot of the record, which is like there's a lot of songs that in this have like the guitars take some interesting melodic sort of detours, and then we return to a cool vocal moment. And I think that's what this one does really well.
Yeah.
And I don't know, people when I've like had conversations with people where sometimes they talk about lo-fi and like that kind of editing, and they think that people are doing it as like a crutch, like they're doing it because the song idea isn't there. And I think that this album is like a perfect representation of like that is not the case.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's such amazing musical ideas that are just run through a creative way of recording it.
I dig that.
Yeah, do you think it like has an effect on the listener's psyche to hear like a really great idea in a way they're not normally presented it?
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, you play guitar, right?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, so like the appreciation of guitar is like it sort of I think gets you in this direction where you start noticing, oh, if I plug my electric guitar into this thing, it sounds totally different, and I can play the same idea and it sounds different, right? And so then like those decisions have a sort of an emotional effect on your perception of that idea.
Yeah.
You know? Like so I know that I think he plays like might be a jazz master or he plays like a really weird Fender guitar that has all these weird switches that you can flip the phase and stuff. And so it allows you to make the guitar sound drastically like weird and maybe some people would say not good, but like not good for certain things, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think some of this, even, I'm not saying that these musical ideas wouldn't work with a clean guitar. I think they would still be cool, but I think the timbre choice is really artistic and creative.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's super unique sounds, like the whole record, which I think is probably like a big point of the lo-fi-ness.
Yeah. And it's immersive too, though, right?
Yeah,
you
that's
like
a great
listen
word.
to it and it's like you feel in it.
Yeah, you're like knee deep in the sand on the beach.
Totally.
You know, when you stand on the water and it comes up and then you sink a little and the water goes away. And then the wave
wanna
comes
go
back
to the
in
beach.
and then you sink a little more and the water goes away.
Yeah.
I walked my dog on the beach this weekend.
Oh, jealous.
What a
It
great.
was great.
Ugh.
Great.
The one downside of having a cat, you can't walk a cat.
Can't walk a cat on the beach.
Can't walk a cat on the beach. She'll poop in
they'll
it.
get too sandy. Yeah, she's like, this is the best litter box
Yeah.
ever. Stupid poop joke. Can we listen to the big section when the full band comes in on a minute 25?
Totally freaking can.
I'm so tired, I can never lay down
That's like the best drum intro.
I can never lay down my head. I can never lay down my head. I'm so
And it works so well for the song because the lyrics are kind of like, here's a stanza, here's a variation on that stanza, here's a third variation of it.
Yeah.
So to have the song like switch right in the middle sonically is super, keeps you in it.
I wonder if these drums are real drums or not real drums, but so like this record and the record before, he does this thing where he sometimes samples a drum part from another song.
Oh.
And so like I'm going to take a detour over to the song from the first album for a moment.
Yes.
Can we
do
do
it.
that?
Uh-huh,
Is that
yeah, yeah.
okay?
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep. Okay, so there's a song, the very first song on their first record is called Funny Friends.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And it starts with this like drum opening
Ooh.
that is like very memorable to me. Are we able to play it or no?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Yes.
Is this a hip-hop sample a lot?
So I discovered this a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago. I was listening to there's an artist named Czarface who is it's a side project of MF Doom.
Oh,
cool.
shit, yeah.
Okay, and they sampled this same drum part because I heard the song right away, and I've listened to that Umo record a bunch. So as soon as I heard the drums, I was like, something's familiar.
Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, in like a weird way. Like I've not listened to that much Czarface, so like I don't. So then I dug into what. First, I like played the songs next to each other, and I was right. And then I discovered that the original drum part is from a soul sort of disco record from like the 70s from a band called the Pointer Sisters.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wait, oh, fuck. What's their song? That sounds
It's
so
only
familiar.
took my brain too.
I think I can pull up the one that it's sampled from.
Oh, the one we probably know is I'm So Excited. I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they were like soul, and then they went way more disco-y later in their career.
Yeah,
I think.
because I also know Jump for My Love, and I think that one's a little more disco-y, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Wow. So you hit like a disco drum beat or a soul drum beat.
That's fun.
It's so cool.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's like the break section.
Well,
where
correct
is
me
it?
if I'm wrong, but Ruben, he plays most of the parts except the drums, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So like that makes sense that he's like a big drum sampler.
Mhm.
That's fun.
Yeah. So I think that first song probably is a drum sample as well, but we will never know.
Source, reveal yourself.
Yeah.
You can comment on Spotify now. If you know, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, do that.
Yeah, do that.
Comment, like, subscribe.
You're a natural.
Wow.
Oh,
What would it be like to swim and sleep like a shark?
Probably chill as
I love the
hell.
clarification. He's like, no, not just swim, but also sleep.
Because sharks can sleep and
Parentheses.
swim, right? There's like
They have to,
they have
or
like an
they
idle
die.
mode because they like sort of sleep and go.
Yeah.
They're a type of fish that can't move water past their gills.
Oh, shit.
And
Wait,
unless-
hit me with that shark fact, Zach.
You guys don't watch Shark Week?
No.
No.
So some fish can like stay one spot, and then their fins can like move water past their gills so they can keep breathing.
Right.
But sharks can't.
Because fish don't breathe water.
They do breathe water.
Oh.
kinda.
I don't know. I'm saying shit.
But so sharks have to keep swimming while they're sleeping, otherwise the water doesn't move through their gills.
Oh, so they can't. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see.
That's weird to me because I guess I just thought the water was always there if they were to like sit there still. Like,
Right.
Couldn't you just keep like
If
a
they're in like
vacuum?
a current, I guess, or something.
But if it's like still, you'd probably get all the good shit out of it.
And then there would be no oxygen
And
to
then there'd
take
be
from
no
that.
Yeah,
oxygen.
you would.
Yeah.
Your gills would soak up the oxygen in the water right there. Then you need new water to flow past.
Right.
I don't know,
right.
scientists. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, this is actually so huge.
So I think that's probably why they were like swim and sleep.
like a shark.
Yeah.
Well, metaphorically, I think it would be nice if, or like, I guess if you could go through certain days of parts of your day where you're like maybe not your favorite part of the schedule.
Yeah.
You could just like get a sleep in while you're doing it.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Is this what that HBO show's about?
Are you gonna say Severance?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Were sharks the original Severance? Wait.
But yeah, like if I'm sending emails for like 3 hours, can I just like
That's actually so huge. Turn my brain off while I'm doing my
I want to get
Excel.
drinks with friends later. I would rather save a couple of hours of energy there. No,
That's so huge.
So true.
Yeah. Dang.
I don't think he was writing about severance in this song though.
no, I think it was probably motivated by wanting to not. I don't know. I mean, there were some sad feelings in this album. There's
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting this feeling of just kind of wanting to like check out a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
which I get, you know.
Asleep and constantly floating away, which is such an like like a great refrain, even when you don't really know what the meaning is. You're just like, ah.
Mm-hmm. Also, point out
yes
that the vocals are double tracked in this.
Oh.
And I think they're double tracked in like the majority of the songs in this album.
I was gonna pick your brain about it.
Yeah.
So tell us more. Tell us more about the double track.
Okay, so and this is like maybe not like the world's most like game changing thing. I think a lot of artists have done this back to like the John Lennon thing where he would double track himself.
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell when you listen to these that he's recorded the same vocal part twice and put one in your left ear and one in your right ear. And I think that makes us feel really immersed in a way that is like really interesting. And I don't think everyone does that, but I think that style of double tracking feels really intimate sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's whispering it.
Yes.
In a way somehow.
Like two of him. Like,
Yeah.
right?
Getting like a hug on both sides.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I'd love to pick your brain about this. Like sometimes artists will still double track, but it's edited in a way that it still sounds like a single voice, just fuller.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Huh.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you can like rhythmically time them up really well and they perform it really accurate to the original like first take, you can make it feel like one, or it almost just feels like one, but it's maybe a little bit louder or a little bit more exciting.
Or you get like a reverb effect from it that's just a little off.
Yes, yeah, it's kind of like an audio trick for width in the mix, which I feel like is like a hot word in the audio world. Like, oh, make your mixes wider, but it's like a way to get like people will use to like make choruses feel larger and things like that.
Sure.
But
his choice to leave them kind of noticeable that it's two.
Yes, and throughout the whole song, not just like a section. It's like the whole song.
Yeah, a through line of like kind of this like double character, two voices singing the. Will we play some of it? Maybe if we can find the refrain, that would make me happy. But we don't have to.
I wish I could smoke and sleep like a shotgun. I'd fall to the bottom and I'd hide till the end of time. This sweet
Yeah, if you listen for is it sibilants, your S's and T's, and you really notice it.
The breaths, like there's like, yeah.
That's fun.
And that bass line is so like Tame Impala-y,
Yes.
so of its time, so early 2010s.
Yeah,
So mad that our show gets released in mono.
Yeah, and it's just accessible for folks who like want to listen with one earbud in or something.
Oh,
things
you're
like
right.
that.
Accessibility.
Yeah.
That's fair. That makes a lot of sense. Actually.
So
now I feel like a jerk.
if you
Accessibility is good, all right? Fidelity is in stereo sometimes, but we're gonna let it,
if you've got an appetite for it, if you would like to listen to this with both headphones in and get that stereo experience.
Boo is rescinded. I apologize for the
I didn't. We can cut all that out. Cam, use your discretion.
that's fine.
To get that experience. Don't use our podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe
To get the full experience.
detour
Don't
over
even
to
listen
the
to our
album.
podcast. I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
No.
Do listen.
Keep listening. Keep listening.
But you
Keep
just
listening.
have to. You just have to do. No, I'm sorry. I almost went into one at a time. I almost said you have to do one at a time, but that's not the next song.
Oh, that
you
would
guys
be
are
good.
so good at this podcast and at being in trouble, apparently.
I'm actually so like trouble averse. I hate being in trouble.
I hate being in trouble.
I hate it. I'm so afraid of authority and doing things wrong.
When was the last time you were in trouble, Sarah?
Yeah, what was the last trouble you were in?
God. Is it crazy if I don't know?
That's how scared you are. You haven't been in trouble in so long.
Yeah. Well, I've like done things wrong, but I haven't been caught.
Last time I was in trouble, I forgot to go to a court date, and then
That's so you know. That tracks.
and then
That'll
got pulled
do it.
over for it. And,
Was it for a parking ticket?
a speeding ticket?
Speeding ticket. Yeah.
You know what? I can relate.
Yeah.
I am not in trouble now, but I have done my fair share of collecting of Chicago related parking,
Haven't we
speeding.
all?
Of course.
They're ruthless with the
They'll
speeding.
get
Now,
Yeah.
like ruthless.
You go like 0.5 miles over and like frown at the speeding camera, and they're like
Yes.
$75.
Yeah, and it's like the dispute process. They don't. There used to be an era where I think you would like dispute it, and they would just be like, "You're right," and they just give it to you.
Yeah.
And now it's like the opposite. It's like you gotta have proof.
Yeah. Cam did. Have I talked about this on air before once? There was this one time where Cam got a speeding ticket while we were in the car together. We were driving back from getting our first ever COVID shots.
Oh,
So this was in March of like 2021.
What a somber and weird moment of history.
Just
where it's
driving back to my apartment feeling real weird. We're driving through Humboldt Park, and I guess he was going a little bit fast, but he gets the speeding ticket later, and there was like a photo included. There was a camera, and clear as day, it's the two of us in the front seat.
Oh, that's kind of cute. You should frame it.
We should, Cam, if you still have it. So we were like, damn, yeah, you did it.
Damn.
Yeah.
I used to have a car that was like this Kia that was like falling apart. I don't have that car in my life anymore, but that car, like that car was so good at being in trouble. Honestly, it was like from like the last 3 years of owning it, I like hated that thing.
I had a Ford. I'll quickly tell this, and then
Yeah.
I had a Ford Focus that the muffler kept falling off.
Oh.
And it was like so expensive to go get it like put back on. I would get under there with coat hangers and tie it back up every so often.
Wow.
You're clapped out Ford Focus.
Yeah, anytime I'd like go over a big speed bump, I gotta get back in there and tie up that.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
Is
Nice.
this the single off the record?
I don't know how they like release things. It definitely feels like it, as
feels
far
like
as
the
like
single.
it's the most well known. It's so memorable. It's such the bass line as soon as it comes in is just such a melody in itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a Carol K ass bass line.
This is your friend, right?
Who?
The song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Speak
love
on
the Carol K reference is from The Wrecking Crew. If you haven't seen it on Netflix, it's fantastic. But that's she's one of the bass player that played on like all the I almost said Beastie Boys. All the Beach Boys records.
Cool.
They were like a crew of like 12 musicians who recorded all the stuff from like the 60s and 70s. But she would talk about how like certain bass lines make a melody pop, and you gotta have them move in a certain way. And this song was like taking notes.
Yeah. Well, it's like the bass line carries it, and sometimes the guitar like doubles the riff, but it doesn't like do the riff the whole time. Like
Yeah.
the bass line is doing it, and then sometimes the guitar kind of doubles the idea and then does its own thing.
Yeah, leaving space for it, and the song's so simple. The lyrics are so easy, but they hit so hard.
Yeah, I think it's like, it seems to me like a story of like lost love. Like it feels like
Totally.
this sort of like maybe there was a relationship, and I don't know if it's like, it's unclear if it's like a cheating dynamic or if it's just like a thing where there was just always conflict in that relationship, right? Because I feel like that could be maybe a thing that you could experience, is like maybe there's a partner that feels a need to create drama where drama isn't. Like that's just as much so good at being in trouble as maybe being a person that's like infidelity, right?
Yeah.
Maybe she's a baddie. Maybe she gets on the bar.
Yeah.
At the club.
I don't know.
Gets kicked out by the bouncer.
It's tough to say, like, but I mean, it's clear it hurt him in some way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, or
Yes.
at least.
There sure is loss here.
But all these songs sound so happy, and the words are not.
Yeah.
Sort of a
Yeah.
like weird kind of like, even like the opener we were talking about, like From the Sun. Like if you were like just listening to the chords, it's like so major sounding.
Yeah,
Totally.
He's
This
using
one too.
a lot of chord variations that are like almost the axis of awesome chord progression. The 1-6-4-5, he uses like the 1-6. I looked them all up earlier.
Oh, nice.
Smart.
you went theory on it. I didn't like even think about the theory of it.
Yeah, I've been like doing a little like ear trading, so I was like, oh, that's the 1-6-4-5, but a little different.
Yeah, a common one. Yeah.
Love.
Yeah, a lot of major key chord progressions, common chord progressions, and this one does such a good job. Like the verse sets you up for the chorus in a great way.
Yeah.
Like,
Should we listen to it?
Just the verse.
Yeah.
From the get go, whatever's easy.
This is the OG. This is the 10-year anniversary edition. So I don't know.
So it used to be more lo-fi than this,
Dang.
right?
Maybe. I don't know if I like it. Probably. Maybe. You think so?
I'm curious because you're on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
So this is the 10-year anniversary remaster.
Correct. That's the only one. Well, it doesn't say remaster. It says edition.
Yeah.
So, and this is the version with all the bonus tracks included. So I don't know if the mix has
not
been affected.
remixed. Okay.
If it
I mean,
has,
it's-
it doesn't say it.
It has, if you listen to it in comparison to the other songs, what's weird is like, so they've clearly mixed the bass forward.
Mm-hmm.
And like from like an audio mixing standpoint, like if you make the bass a certain amount of loudness, you can't really make, like the whole song might be perceived as being quieter than if you mix the bass softer. Because sometimes you can get away with compressing the whole song more if the bass isn't as loud. But bass frequencies, because they take up like it takes more energy to be able to have us perceive it as loud. If you make a really bassy sounding thing, you're like tone, it's going to be very hard to make the whole instrument or the whole song really loud.
Is that because of like the qualities of speakers? Like the speaker has to vibrate the low a lot?
Yeah, or you at least have to compress that low end a lot more than like what you would have to if the bass wasn't so forward, if that makes sense.
Oh, interesting.
So that's
Yeah.
always a tricky thing. It's like when you want the bass to be heard, you're making a sacrifice because it's like if you bury the bass, you can make that song really compressed, and that's maybe exciting on an iPhone, right? Like 'cause then you
Yeah.
can make it super loud and fit the standards of what Spotify is looking for and stuff like that. So I think this song, it feels and sounds more vintage than the other ones.
Yes.
Because of that choice. Like the bass has to be in the front in some
Yeah.
ways.
Whoa.
Which is interesting. Like if you listen, like maybe I just noticed this when I was going through the dive, but I was like, it feels more covered, like sort of vintage, like muffled sounding than the other ones do
More
because
of
of that
an
choice.
old radio type vibe.
Yeah.
I do get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I love like that I have all this science in words to the aesthetic I was feeling, but now can like understand.
Totally. Totally.
So thank you for that. That's
How the
yeah.
sausage is made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this song. It reminds me of being like in college and like waking up in the morning and listening to it in the summer and like having windows open.
Yeah.
I was
And,
just
like-
gonna say it's a Windows Open song.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dead ass.
It's so
Yeah.
It brings me back to a very specific, like maybe more carefree now. It feels very carefree, like in
Totally.
hindsight, like moment of my life for sure.
I like that. Speaking of funky bass, should we go to one at a time?
Yeah.
I wrote down that this bass was nasty.
Can we play the intro?
Yeah, we
Listen
sure
to this
can.
Donald Duck ass guitar tone.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's really good.
I love it. No, I'm not making fun of it.
No, yes.
It works perfectly for what it. Yeah, it's like that funk wah thing, but it's like the lo-fi version of funk tone. where it has
Totally.
that weird.
Funk.
No,
Yeah.
they got funky with this. I was
Yeah.
like, this is kind of giving like Starfucker almost, like
Ooh.
funkadelic.
A good band.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
band.
And it's a great placement on the record too. Like after
Yeah.
this kind of like slow, easy going, to bring up the energy.
Wake it up a
Track number
little.
4.
I like the moment in the middle where it goes like all vocals and it's like one at a time and it's like all gang vocaled up and it's like it sounds like 6 of them or something in the middle. It's
And it's just squished.
yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. I like this one.
Right?
I didn't have a ton of notes for this one because I was just vibing too hard. I was just like, let's go.
But that moment, killer example of lo-fi editing because it's
Yeah.
like distorted. Like those vocals are like hitting the distortion so obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
like they're peaking, like they're in the red.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the red on purpose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's so
exactly.
fun.
That's so cool.
Because, yeah, no, it is just such a fun choice. Because it does sound like big, but like squished, which is like, duh, compression means you're squishing it. But like, again, having the nomenclature for these feelings and experiences.
Yes.
This is the kind of journalistic shit you get on album reviews.
I always say, we're here to learn.
We're here to learn. Lifelong learner.
And I think the choice there definitely captures that exciting aesthetic better than what like those same vocals pristine editing would.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you compare it to like think of like the first time they distorted an electric guitar? You know what I mean? Because it was just like it was like a malfunction. They were putting too much juice into a guitar.
Yeah.
And then it became an aesthetic, right? Would
Yeah.
you compare lo-fi to that at all?
Maybe, yeah. I think it was like, yeah, it's discovering that anything can be sent through a certain amount of distortion, right? And like sometimes it sounds awesome and really cool and unique. I think that like people from this band, they probably had gear that was like old and maybe didn't even work that great, but like
They still used it.
yes, and like sort of discovered some sort of like charm to it that is kind of unique. It's like, I don't know, all of the way we're talking about like photography and audio, and I think of like every time you put audio like through a piece of equipment, it sort of changes it in the same way that if you were to like use a different lens maybe, and like you don't have to have a certain lens to take a picture, but like having those different options is like different sort of timbre paintbrushes.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. And what you were saying too about like a charm to the equipment, I think also really, photography episode really translates to that, because like you look at something that was taken on a disposable camera or something that was taken on like a Nikon Coolpix or whatever. And this was kind of the train of thought that I was going down, is like, is this choice like something that used to be like a necessity, like only having access to whatever, like maybe cheapo equipment or like analog stuff? I feel like analog
I
is
did
maybe
find
expensive
a quote,
though.
not to cut you off, but
No,
of
please.
him talking about how it would have sounded different if they had more money.
Yes!
Really?
Because photography is the same fucking way. Is you could get the like huge fucking Minolta like huge camera with a giant sensor and like super expensive lights and just be able to see inside of every pore on someone's face. But you can also have like the $20 Coolpix and have that sort of like blurry compressed charm to it.
Sure.
It translates really well, guys. This is huge.
Yeah. That's funny that he said that in an interview, because now I'm like, none of this was a choice. But it's, you know what? It sent them down a path.
It was a quote about the last song.
Oh.
Could have been more hi-fi. I didn't have the option in the last two records. And in
I would
the last
never
two
want
records,
that
I guess
song to be
I have,
hi-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also, like, was this a choice after this record that they stuck to? Do we know?
Kind of like the record after, which has like Can't Keep Checking My Phone and a couple other ones, like is definitely lo-fi, but I feel like at that point the pop lo-fi of like Tame Impala and other bands is like was like more well known, and so it feels like a more crisp version of it. You know, where it's like still embracing sort of filtration and saturation in weird ways, but maybe a little bit more pop sensibility to it, I guess. Like
Totally.
or a
Yeah, there was probably a time where like appealing to the capital O algorithm, algorithm.
algorithm.
Algorithm. I don't know how to spell.
Oh,
That's why we do a
algorithm.
podcast. This isn't a journal. Where that became less fashionable, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really makes you think.
Really makes you think.
Should we take a quick moment to grab another thinking beer? And also, I have to go pee in the potty.
Yeah, I'm going to transition to the next song, though. It makes you think, just like the song Opposite Afternoon makes you think about what time they're talking about.
Think about that.
Go piss, girl.
BRB.
Opposite the Afternoon. This one felt so Beatles-y.
That was one of my notes as well.
And very Grizzly Berry.
Yeah.
And I found a cool quote, I'll paraphrase it, of him talking about how he found this Telecaster and he wanted to do John Lennon licks on it.
Oh,
So this one is John Lennon licks on a Telecaster, and it works very well.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar with the concept of reheating nachos? Have you heard this phrase before? Either of you?
is this where you take chips and you like sprinkle like shredded shredded cheese on top of chips and you microwave it, and then like it's because
Well,
I
in
know
the
that
literal
is like
sense.
Are you referring to like taking nachos home from a restaurant and reheating them in the microwave?
you're making me think of
This
like
is really
yeah.
literal. No, I mean
Okay.
more so if I were to say that this song reheated the Beatles nachos. Would that make
Oh.
sense to you?
Oh, it's a good thing.
kind
no,
of.
I feel like reheated nachos would be so soggy.
That's
Like
what
it
I
would
thought
not
you were
retain
saying,
the
yeah.
it would not retain the charm of the nacho at all.
It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it is. Okay, so this is like kind of like it's like a pop culture term right now. It's big on like Twitter or TikTok or whatever.
Oh.
But like with the recent Lady Gaga album, they're like
some of them are
she-
really derivative of like one song you can sing Bad Romance like on top of the song.
Yes.
And it's like chord for chord.
So they're like she reheated her the Fame nachos as it pertains to
Okay,
Mayhem.
So it's like it's not positive or negative. It's
It's
just the
derivative.
fact
Sometimes
that-
like people make it really positive. Like
Oh.
what's an
Because
example?
nachos are an objective good in our world.
But
Yes.
microwaving nachos would be an ass experience. Like I can't
For
think of
sure.
a single scenario where I would reheat a nacho like that like already had cheese on it previously
Yeah.
and it would come anywhere near the original nacho because it's like
But it's still a nacho.
but like
is the
you
point I'm
order
making.
loaded
Right.
you order loaded nachos, you got like 10 minutes before that shit's soggy.
You're
Like,
so right. Because it's got like jalapenos on it, it's got beans on it,
It's
it's
got sour
got
cream.
onions on it.
Yeah,
sour
now we're
cream.
microwaving it like it's
Right.
now it's basically a casserole. You know,
Yeah.
like if it's
You gotta eat
soft
that fork and
enough.
knife.
So what if I say this song reheated the Beatles nachos,
Okay.
but they added their own chorizo and used fresh
Oh.
chips.
Okay.
Like we still have it's like it's a ship of Theseus. No, not really.
No.
But it's like we see the source material, but perhaps they're providing their own nacho ingredients. Perhaps they
Yes.
scraped off the sour cream. Perhaps they reheated them in the oven.
Wow.
Oh,
what dedication
a
to the
broiler,
nacho.
man.
A
Perhaps.
broiler
They broiled the Beatles.
Yeah.
nachos.
All right. Yes. Yeah.
I am actually so surprised we haven't had this conversation yet because I do love this term.
It's a good turn.
I dislike it because I just who out here is microwaving nachos? Like
Who out here
who's-
has nacho leftovers? Well, I do
Commit
like
to the nacho.
depression nachos where it's just shredded cheese on chips.
Oh yeah.
Love.
Oh yeah. There was like that's a poor person's wonderful
That's a
snack right there.
staple.
That was my elementary school experience right
Very.
there. Like yeah.
That's just Thursday night, baby.
Are you saying wait? Restaurant nachos? Do you ever reheat?
Have I reheated a restaurant nacho in my life? Objectively, yes.
That's interesting.
Wow. And it was
How
probably
was it?
so soggy.
How is bad?
Have you ever seen that?
Imagine looking at the remnants of a loaded taco plate.
Right.
Like, because all the good, like, you go for the good bites first.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what's left?
I brought home chilaquiles from a restaurant a couple
chilaquile?
weeks ago. It's like breakfast nachos, kind
Ooh,
of.
that sounds
Oh, yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's
okay.
it's like tortilla chips tossed with
Chorizo.
scrambled egg, cheese, chorizo if you like it, if you're a
Oh.
meat eater. I mean, I like it, but I don't eat meat.
Fair.
And did I say cheese? Sometimes sour cream, salsa.
Mhm.
You do a verde, you can do a rojo.
Yeah.
The thing about it, just like nachos, you've got about a 10-minute window before it's a bowl of cornmeal and egg.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Because that dish is great, but it's like the crunchiness of the chip brings that.
Yes.
Brings it all together.
It's necessary.
Uh-huh.
Things with timelines, I don't know.
I'm a big
If they weren't-
foodie, and like there's the right moment to eat something. You know, it's like
Yes.
and also to reheat them.
Right.
You know, air fried nachos. These are
This
air
is
fried
interesting.
nachos.
Air fried
Yeah.
nachos.
Because that would not get the moisture.
Yes.
It would dry it out a bit.
Air fried nachos. With perhaps
Yes.
a little extra shredded cheese from the fridge.
Hmm. Yeah, a little bit of like maybe you saved
Just a
the
little
like the
zhuzh.
little packets from Taco Bell. And you kind of
Yes.
just like
Oh my god.
I'm so hungry. I want to listen to this song a little bit and
Yes.
talk about the Telecaster.
Yes.
Because like that's a country instrument, the Telecaster guitar.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, notably more twangy. I
Yeah.
mean, you can find it on many punk band and pop punk bands gear lists.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, but totally, it has an absolutely twangy.
So there is like a country flair to this as well. Even
Maybe.
Yeah. Do you want it right from the top?
I don't know. Papasan.
Well, I feel like right from the top is like where it's like super Beatlesy up front, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's so Beatlesy. up
Let's
front.
give it to him.
like right away.
Yeah. I've tasted these nachos.
I tasted these nachos.
Penny Lane.
Yeah.
crashing out to the dirt. Oil is in the cradle of its golden root tonight. Bones are broken, veins are open.
But the timbre changes after the drum fill.
Yeah, it's a great trick they do on a couple songs here.
You have way more low ends now, you know?
It like opens up.
Crashing out of the dirt. Oil is in the cradle of its golden moon tonight.
I dig it.
Yeah, I think that one has the vocals are the most like mid-rangey of all of the songs. They're, like when after the drums come in, the vocals have like this really sort of like nasally characteristic to them to me. And I feel like there's like a phaser on there. There's this sort of like movement in there that is not natural. That sounds like a phaser effect. And I think it sounds really nice. It's a big risk. Like there's a lot more mid-range in that vocal than I think your standard like pop mixing engineer would embrace.
Sure.
Where does the mid-range, like in a vocal, lie? Like what part of the throat apparatus is...
Yeah, that's a fair question. So it's like, this is the way I think of things from an EQ standpoint. So
Cam's gonna love this.
I bet you will. I hope you do, because sometimes I talk about this stuff and I see the eyes like glaze over, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should talk about like sports or something.
No, we're locked in. We're locked in.
We're locked in. So I think of the EQ as 4 sections. You got your lows, your low mids, your high mids, and your very highs. Okay, I'll start from the highs. So the very high frequencies is like that area helps us distinguish like consonants. It helps us understand people's words, right? Like if we don't have that, then I couldn't tell if you were saying a word. Like I wouldn't know what consonants you're using.
Right.
The upper mid range starts to get in this like sort of harsh area where it's like we want some of it, but if that area has too much, it starts to feel really like fatiguing for us to listen to, where it's like
too sharp.
Yes.
Like shrill, would you say?
Yeah. And then like the low mids, but also sort of the high mids, like that area is where if there's too much of it, it starts to sound like people are sick. You know what I mean? When you're sick and it's like I'm like kind of like this.
Yeah.
Like that's too much.
So like every
mid-range.
Blink-182 record.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But that's that low mid area is what I'm noticing in this song. Is like there's so much more of it that they're embracing and how those vocals are. And maybe it's because they're really stereoized, but I think it's cool. It's a scary risk to take, and maybe I like it because I like the album, and in the mix I'm not like this is an amazing mix, but the album great. So
That's interesting.
That's so cool. I love audio engineers on the podcast. We got to do that all the time now.
I'm glad you like it, because I can talk a lot about this stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
Some people like it, some don't. Or should we move to the next one?
I was going to do a pun, but maybe it's not there.
Oh.
I was going to say, no need for any other type of podcast or a leader.
I mean,
that's kind of how I'm.
I was going to say, I mean, I'm... I think we're all feeling like there's no need for a leader, especially if they're not a leader.
I love embracing anarchism.
A demon.
And this is a great song that does that.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was 2013 when this came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as like American politics go, this is second Obama term.
Yeah.
Pretty chill.
I read an interview of this one, and he said he was like talking. He was talking about it actually. I think it was during the album After, and he was like talking about the person had asked him about what it's like when people are wanting to know more about his lyrics, because I think maybe the first album or two people were not asking as much because of the lo-fi characteristic.
Sure.
But he said a funny thing where he was like, if I put No Need for a Leader out right now, everyone would think that I'm like doing it for this poignant reason.
Right.
And he was saying that like more so this is a song about like how I feel maybe have a disconnect or like a problem with authority, and like not feeling like pleased with how oftentimes authority like drives things. Which resonates with me a lot. I was like a person that like loves punk music and also dislikes the way that certain authority figures choose to make decisions. It's like totally resonates with me, you know? And the opening has like a really trippy guitar effect thing.
Yeah. The fuzz is so purposeful, I feel like.
Yes.
The fuzz is anarchy.
Yeah, it's so like, and it's kind of like exists for a long time before we actually go into the song. You know?
Should we live in that for a second?
Yeah, play it.
Okay, cool.
Sort of a nutcracker moment, by the way.
You're so right, actually.
You know, on an infectious bass line again.
It's so crunchy.
It's like it's very bright. It's like no low end.
Yeah.
It's like very bright and like over here and over there. This is an example of a lot of high mids in a guitar tone.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Phoenix record we talked about.
I
I
love
was
that
gonna
band.
say, yeah.
Which record did you guys talk about?
Wolfgang Amadeus.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, with Listmania.
The
and like,
one, yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
mixed all the guitars really, really high and the bass and the drum really, really low. So those were like the only instruments that lived in those.
Yeah.
Mm.
The song also reminds me so much of specifically Lonely Boy by the Black Keys.
Yeah.
Like, and the vocal quality on it too it's compressed in a way, whereas like these are kindred spirits.
Yeah,
they're
similar
sisters.
like a tape compression thing happening.
Yeah.
Like how like it distorts it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
absolutely.
Which like, no, I eat that right up.
I feel so. I wanted to say a thing about at this point in this. So, like, I feel like when you hit to this point in the album,
Uh-huh.
you
We're on
start to
side B.
appreciate. Yeah, we're at like 6 songs in.
Uh-huh.
Like the guitar and bass melodic writing is like so apparent at this point to me, and I think it's like really impressive. It's like even this one, it's like that riff is like it like it makes you want to dance.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's so impressive of writing style. I think, yeah, I admire it.
Uh-huh.
Because there's like guitar players that are shreddy that can play fast, right? And maybe
Right.
that's like a density or kind of like perspective of how to write a musical idea. But there's a lot of like great ideas that are not about like fitting a bunch of notes into a short span of time,
Sure.
but like choosing the right notes at the right rhythm. And I think that's like
Uh-huh.
his thing.
Editing.
Yeah, or not. Yeah, maybe not
In a way, in a
yes.
sense.
You
Yeah.
mean like editing down the notes.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Or just like the musical idea is it doesn't have to be like this thing where it's like like crazy things or like it's you find like a gem in like a couple of notes at a nice rhythm.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then the interplay between the other two instruments, your bass and your drums.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess it's like more of a restrained approach to take.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing like below your means. I've heard people talk about like you can tell when a musician can shred like crazy, but they
Oh.
choose not to, and the easy riff sounds better than someone who could only play the easy riff.
Interesting.
That's Tommy Kessler right
Yeah,
there.
the Tommy Kesley. Yeah, oh my
Well, because
gosh.
he's like, so they can
Classic.
shred like crazy, and then like also they'll play like a simple idea, and it just sounds like better because they're holding the guitar.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, because they can play a million times better than that, or not
Yeah.
better, but more complex.
Tommy, gosh dang it. You little wizard.
Damn you,
Yeah.
Tommy! You appeared into another another episode.
Damn you, Tommy, we can't keep your name out of our mouths.
It's on the album reviews bingo card. It's like mentions Tommy Kessler. And it's
Is it
like-
really? No.
Right.
If we had one,
Well, I guess with OK Cool and like Tommy came in, I'm sure y'all have had some other Tommy references.
We went on Musicians Movie Club.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
I
I've listened to a couple of those.
they're great.
I
It's
love
great.
the
It's fun. We did one
the
where we
Halloween
talked
one.
about Clue, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
Very good movie.
And I name dropped Tommy in that little audio drama I just wrote
Oh yeah, you did.
for freaking Blood Mountain.
Yeah,
with Brady.
with Brady. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Brady Madison?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've listened to some of his songs off of, what is it, Sirens? Or no, it's like something for
Sirens from Monoliths.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Super Good Sport came in and I handed him a script and he said, all right. So
Sometimes we do
Shout out.
audio dramas on the show.
Cool.
Instead of
Games.
instead of orchestra guessing games.
I have a friend that does a podcast called Death by Dying that you all might enjoy.
Ooh.
It's like a person who's like a mystery, like they solve mysteries, but there's all these deaths, and it's like funny.
Death by
Love.
Dying is a great podcast name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
love.
goofy.
I'm gonna check that out.
we're gonna check it out.
I wish someone had a podcast about monkeys.
We
Oh.
do.
We do?
Yeah.
For the next couple of minutes, we do.
You're so right.
Album primates. There's nothing there.
Album rib
Bananas.
bonobos.
I was so shocked behind the backstory of this song.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me more about it.
Tell,
Yeah.
please.
So I didn't know because I like admittedly like we're getting to some of the songs where I'm like I don't dislike them, but they're not like the ones that I really like. I don't dislike this song, but it's like not the one that I think of the most. When I
Sure.
listen to it, I like it, but it's like it's not like a Faded in the Morning or like a So Good at Being in Trouble of the album. But I dove into researching this, and apparently Ruben and his friends were talking about Harry Potter, which I want to take a side note
Yes.
and say fuck J.K. Rowling.
That part.
Yes.
She is trash.
Yup.
And she alienated a huge portion of her fan base just because she has stupid political opinions, and fuck her. But I apologize for the swears, but
Yeah.
fuck J.K. Rowling.
Fuck
but
J.K.
anyways,
Rowling.
yeah, big
If you were a part of my childhood, you should be a good person. That's
That part.
Yeah.
yes, and like
Fumbled it for what? Like,
Yeah.
fumbled it for what, you dumbass? You giant, huge dumbass.
like was not a huge portion of the Harry Potter message that there are all of these people that are like maybe not weirdos, but they're all like weird in their own way, and that's
Yeah.
a cool like they all have a strength because they're weird.
Yeah.
And is that not like how like obviously that resonates with everybody, but especially like the queer community, and then like fucking what? Then alienate that community that like those were the people that were there like my friends who are queer and not queer, but like I had a bunch of queer friends, and we would go to like the midnight showings of that shit.
Yeah.
And then to like see her like totally abandon that is just
So fucking stupid.
yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of how could you have how do you not know your fan base that well? And just also just like how are you dumb? How are you that dumb?
Suzanne Collins could never.
Yes.
Writer of the Hunger Games franchise.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But anyways, they were
Anyway.
talking about Harry Potter, fuck J.K. Rowling, and they were talking about, they were like, what is your Patronus? Which we'll take a side note. The Patronus is like this, supposed to be this sort of like animal representation of the person casting the spell. And
Yes.
it's supposed to be like their strengths or like who they are represented by this silvery entity that is the shape of an animal.
Uh-huh.
And he said that he thought his was a monkey.
Yeah.
And everyone apparently in his friend group was like, yes, absolutely. And that's how Monkey was born.
That's
Yeah.
so affirming to have someone say, like, yeah, that's absolutely what that is for you.
Uh-huh.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a trickster, mischievous, kind of like that was kind of the vibe, right? From the monkey.
Uh-huh.
Yes. I think he said a monkey Ravenclaw too, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, studious
Dexterous.
and follows the rules and-
Yeah.
I had someone ask me like what house I thought I would be, and I find it really difficult to decide because like all the descriptors of all the houses, I want all of those.
Sure.
I'm like, I want to be like what is it? Gryffindor is like brave,
Right.
And, like what
kind
is
of
it, like,
main character vibes.
Mhm.
Very like heroic. I'm not even that big of a Harry Potter guy, but I have taken like the what house are you in test so many times simply because I love online quizzes.
Yeah.
You just like being on BuzzFeed.
I love it.
And like Ravenclaw is supposed to be like really creative and individualistic,
Right.
But it's then what is it? What are the others?
There's
Slytherin.
Hufflepuff and
I always
Slytherin.
get-
And Hufflepuff is always they're like
You
they're,
would.
you say Slytherin?
I said I always get Hufflepuff.
Oh, that's what I always go between Hufflepuff and Slytherin
They make
because
fun of the Hufflepuff kids.
Well,
That's the
'cause
problem.
They're dreamers.
Yeah.
but like the described morale or behind them is supposed to be like really like loving of people, and like it's
Yeah.
all about like the unifying of like cultures.
Oh, sure.
It's
and,
very
like,
light. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
And Slytherin's the nasty guys.
yeah, I like, and I'm like, I wish I could be like, and like, I don't know, in response to that question, which fuck J.K. Rowling, by the way,
Yeah.
but
Yes. Uh-huh.
Ravenclaw, I would want to be like half of that and half of maybe Hufflepuff something.
I
don't
feel
know.
similarly. Yes.
You know, like I have too much of a creative spirit to go fully Hufflepuff,
Uh-huh.
but like I also care about people, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
seems
yeah,
like
yeah.
the Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Well, the hat will just like listen to you, so
I won't say
Um,
the F word any more times.
You can say
I think
as
I've hit
much as
on
you
you
want.
can say as much as you want.
Okay,
We don't make money from this.
just like drop in more fuck J.K. Rowlings as
Yeah.
we go.
Fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Fuck J.K.
That'll
Rowling.
be the last
fuck
thing we
J.K.
say on
Rowling.
air. We do our ASMR goodbye.
Yes.
I want to talk about, much like how long those movies are. Fuck J.K. Rowling. I want to talk about how long this
Yes.
song is.
Yeah.
This is a 7-minute song.
It is.
This
It's
one
a
feels
long
very
one.
like I'm just gonna kind of space out to this.
To me, it
for a
didn't
while.
feel like it. Like I never was like, oh my god, will this song end? I was always vibing with it the whole time.
I always
Yeah.
forget this one exists, and then it like comes up when I listen to the album. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh,
Monkey.
yeah.
for sure.
I don't know why.
It like rocks in a way that a song called Monkey should.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You can't name a song Monkey and not have it rock in the right way.
This one feels very like you coded. This feels a little King Giz. This feels a little
Yeah.
Oh, you like King
Crumpin.
Gizzard?
Oh, I love King Gizzard.
Yeah.
Wow, we have similar tastes.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
we would
I
have a
think
good
so.
time talking about music. I thought about doing a King
We should
Gizzard
talk about
album.
music sometime.
We could put some mics up. It would be a great time.
Crack open a couple of beers,
Yeah.
just hang out, talk about music.
I mean, speaking of lo-fi, bands that embrace lo-fi well.
Yeah, 12-bar blues. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but even all the never doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Doesn't matter. We're not talking about that band. Another time. That year that they put out 5 albums, I could do a whole podcast episode about that year. It was a good year.
And now we're going to.
You two are absolutely going to do a bonus episode where you talk about those 5 records.
We'll raise money for something, and we'll be like, these guys are podcasting for 24 hours. We'll raise money, and we just talk about King Gizzard the whole time.
Every
Wait,
King Gizzard
I
album.
love that.
Well, yeah. We'd probably get through like 2 years of their discography.
Yeah, totally.
you know?
We get like 30% of it, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll refill your waters and such. I would
Maybe
talk
no
about
beer in
one
this
record.
scenario. Like maybe, yeah.
So another
Great.
great example of just track listing. Like we talked about how much I loved So Good at Being in Trouble into One at a Time was like a great track listing. I love the 7-minute Monkey song Into Dawn.
Yeah.
The 1-minute interlude.
Just a little snack.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind
It's
of
like
sunshiny, energetic.
yeah, your ear needs like that palate cleanser after Monkeys for 7 minutes.
Totally.
And it's great. I don't know if we want to play a little bit of it. It's just a nice little snack.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like snack. Play a little bit.
It's like Minecrafty in a way.
You do love Minecraft music.
Minecraft.
Yeah, it's nice. It does like have a very dawn energy.
Yeah.
And I think it's hilarious.
It's like the Sun Song from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Of course.
Oh, go ahead.
From a storyline perspective, going from a song called Dawn into Faded in the Morning.
Yes.
Hilarious. And
Yes.
Faded in the Morning. Okay, so I was like doing a little background on the recording of this song. And I'm just going to read a quote. This is from Ruben. So about the process of writing this song, he says,
Okay.
quote, I was recording all night. I was in the basement and didn't really want to hotbox the basement. So I started eating a bunch of weed that I had, just eating it out of a jar. Then I recorded a song called Faded in the Morning, and I got really wasted eventually, but I had to eat so much weed for it to have any effect. My 4-year-old son came wandering down into the basement at 4:30 in the morning or something like that. Maybe it was 4:20 in the morning. He was just sitting on my lap, and I must have looked really crazy, really stoned up and all night recording. He started laughing at me, and I put a mic on him, and you can hear him laughing in the song.
Whoa.
Adorable. And
Wow.
also a song where he got like really stoned being 4 minutes and 21 seconds long. Hilarious.
Oh, is it really?
Hilarious.
That's so funny. I've got the timestamp for the baby laps. They're so good.
I have it as well,
They're
yes.
so wholesome. Do you know about this?
I don't think I realized it. Like I like this song too, and I like totally didn't register the
This
baby
little
laugh.
kiddo.
Yeah, it's his son, which I think is such a cool way to like immortalize your child.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, fit him on like this famous record in
Mhm.
such a wholesome way.
Yeah.
They're at 1:50.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah.
So cute.
That's like a baby. Like his arms can't touch each other's arms over his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can 4-year-olds do that? I think he said he was 4.
Oh, 4-year-olds probably can.
Still.
Still a baby.
This is a good one. I really like this song. I do.
Fun.
Yeah, it's totally about being stoned in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I like looked up these articles and like they were trying to add all this meaning, and I was like, I think it's just about being stoned in the morning, which is fine. Like a little wake and bake song, you know.
Sure.
A little-
And yeah, just
It's a cute story. I didn't know that story of with his son.
I think that's so lovely.
Yeah.
Get the kiddo involved in the process. And you didn't hotbox the basement, so safe for the kiddo to be down there. That's good
Yes.
parenting.
Yeah.
This is how I know that's all a true story because of the line, don't want to die today. You know when you're just so stoned and then you're like, oh, death is real.
So that's okay. So, okay, let's talk about this. So you're saying don't want to die today. You're taking it as like I'm
Paranoia.
scared of death. I don't want to die today. Versus I was reading it as like I want to die every other day, but today I do not.
Oh. Both are true.
And that's interesting. And that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And those are two reactions to cannabis.
To marijuana.
Yes.
Yes.
The spectrum of human experience.
Well, lyrics. What do the lyrics talk about? There's like there it goes. He talks about like going to different places, right? There's like
Walking through the winter markets and all the horses floated away, faded in the morning
Wow.
time.
So
Yeah.
poetic.
It's just it feels very floaty. It feels very vibey. It feels very there's the gal.
Ooh,
Moose has been napping this whole freaking
a little
episode.
moose visit. She's so cute.
Yeah, go get your kibs, girl.
He's so flowery in this one. Haters with their heart asunder will ruin our parade.
God, asunder is a
Asunder's
good
a great
word.
word.
Freaking-
It's a tough one to fit into a song. Like there's like there's some good some words don't make it into songs enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like the vibe.
What else rhymes with asunder?
Under, plunder. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
Thunder.
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 Asunder. That's not.
That's hilarious. Okay, Weird Al. Should we get into our final track here?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
How would you pronounce the title of this song?
So yeah, this is a funny one, right?
Secret X tie-ins.
Secret X tie-ins. Yeah, I mean, secret Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious. Yeah. So apparently in an interview he said that this song is a joke about the tendency of people to hide their deepest convictions, which I thought was interesting, and I think it kind of resonates with me because I grew up in a very like churchy environment. I played a lot of music in churches as a kid before I parted ways with it. I think it's like this record came out well before the Make America Great Again horribleness, right? Like this is pre-MAGA. And so he's pointing out like something I think it's almost like blaringly obvious to us now, right?
Yeah.
Is like these people who like identify with a certain religion, but like they hold on to these like things that are actually very hateful and maybe even like don't even really reflect the text of what they're reading. Or like they use that as justification for like saying they're a good person. Like they're like, oh, I read this text, so I'm good, but I'm actually not good.
Yeah.
I think it's a great song title. I imagine there are people who were maybe offended by it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Christian.
Stay mad.
I don't know. So
I also think compared to the first track on the record, this one is sort of like its lighthearted counterpart in a way, because the first one is about like hiding from the sun and being sad, being depressed, and this one opens with I'm gonna hide from the rain, which I thought was really interesting, just like as sort of a juxtaposition. Don't be grumpy and cold, and then just ending with a bunch of like na-na-na-na-nas. Like I do feel like it was sort of this like we're starting the record in a place and we're ending the record in a different place.
Yeah.
Which
Point
enjoyed.
A and point B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because it did. Yeah, I mean, thematically, the beginning of the album is pretty sad.
Yeah.
Like even the top song, "So Good at Being in Trouble," is sort of like lost love, but we start in a place of isolation, and like I feel like the first three songs are all breakup songs. Like I just feel like they're all different phases of grieving a relationship, you know. But some of this later stuff is a little different. It's more like I don't know. "Fade in the Morning" feels like celebration of like in the moment, feeling good. Kind of thing, maybe like you're like at the market and you're a little stoned, but it's like kind of nice. And then "Secret Christians" is just it's sort of this joke song. I agree with you. I would agree with your assessment.
It's a little bit like y'all are silly.
Y'all can like stray true to your convictions or whatever.
Yeah.
I love the outro. There's like a 2-minute outro.
Uh-huh.
A lot of these songs have long outros, and Anthony Fantano was like, they don't know how to end a song, and I was like, this is 2013, Anthony Fantano, and your message isn't very good.
Get his ass.
But I love him.
Song critics are so tough. Fantano especially. Because he's a particular character. He's actually the first reason I listened to King Gizzard. I hate to say it. It was back in Nonagon Infinity.
Did he have good things to say about that one?
He liked that album a lot, and that's what made me get into it. And then I ignored all of his reviews of the rest of the albums. I think that I don't like we live in this like reviewer era where it's like we almost like end up consuming things after we hear an opinion of it first.
Yes.
You know, and there's like less of that authentic experience of just like hearing it without any opinion,
Any context.
just like the album playing.
Yeah.
I mean, you experience it here and there when you're on like Spotify or something, but like that is like I enjoy it more than I think like starting with someone's opinion and then go, you know.
That's absolutely something I have like made the mistake of doing in the past for the record, is going into an album with too much context, especially if it's one that is like totally unfamiliar to me. I'm like, well, I at least want to know like where the band is from, and then it's sort of a can of worms, because then I'm like, well, now I'm on their Wikipedia page and now I know how Pitchfork felt about this, and I'm like, well, if that's how Pitchfork felt about this, how did Fantano feel about this, or da 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 da.
Yes.
And now like I'm judging the album before I've even heard it.
It's why I never look at the stars before I do a letterbox. But we can play that at 2 minutes if we want. Bass. Last time in the episode, we'll hear it. That's Jacob Portrait on the bass. We haven't said his name yet. Jacob Portrait Tracy should be his nickname. 10 out of 10 way to end a record.
Just a gem of an album.
Yeah.
You know, like I think he hints at not having the right gear for it, but it just feels like this perfect mixture of like the right songs for the right type of equipment that it goes through, and it like captures this really specific aesthetic feeling.
Yeah. It's just like a fun little world to sort of dip into for the whole runtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A great record to get a little high and just listen to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not do anything else.
Yeah. A good like bike ride album, like biking through like a park or something. That's a
Totally.
good one.
Yeah. It's good for walking to the library.
Yes.
But I don't think my AirPods are kind of broken, so I could do the noise cancellation. So it was like this, but also like sirens. Classic Chicago.
I have to pee. There's a cat in my lap.
That's really tough.
I don't know what to do, guys.
Ooh.
That's really tough.
You're gonna have to wait. You're just gonna
I
have to
have to
piss
pee on your
yourself.
couch.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and
that's
we can do a
fine.
Robrewski.
Fair enough.
All right. Couch, I don't know. Or couch. Cameron. Cameron, I don't know how you're going to do a pee couch sound effect, but
Gross.
Yeah.
BRB.
pee couch sound effect.
All right, so I'm going to award a Rebrewski to this album, specifically the best Patronus, the best tasting Patronus, and that the Patronus of this album would be restaurant fresh nachos. We're talking pristine pickled jalapenos, not reheated. If reheated, only air fried.
Only the best.
We're not talking soggy nachos. We're talking fresh nachos.
Texture variation.
2 cheeses, maybe.
Hey,
Hey, but
let's get crazy.
on the other end, we have to maybe not award, but point out maybe a bottom of the barrel Patronus for someone who is a bottom of the barrel person.
Yes.
J.K. Rowling. Their Patronus is the soggiest of nachos.
Stinky nachos.
Stinky
Poop
nachos. Many days old. Weeks, potentially.
Back of the fridge.
Microwaved twice.
Ugh.
Microwave frozen. Microwaved again.
Questionable toppings in the first place.
Black olives.
Yeah, I wouldn't put those on my nachos. Maybe even...
Those nachos
Suck. We usually clap after their brewski, but we can't clap now.
I'll clap for those delicious restaurant quality nachos from the album 2 by
Mortal Orchestra.
Fully short-circuited for a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just busy thinking about nachos. Folks, thank you so much for listening to another delicious and crispy episode of Album Rebrews. We are, of course, Album Rebrews, and we will continue to be Album Rebrews. If you want to check us out on the internet, we are on Instagram at Album Rebrews, and our website is www.albumrebrews.com. See you there.
Giant giant big thank you to Cameron Bopp, our singer-songwriter and editor extraordinaire. He's a great human being. Go check out last episode where he came on and drank 6 different types of pale ales.
God, it was so many pale ales.
So many pale ales. Couldn't do the show without him. Thank you so much. A giant big thank you to you, John, for coming on, picking up such a great record. Yes, ending to all our hoopla and poop jokes. If you're a human who uses the internet, go check out John's music on the internet. It is at b.lake music, which is b.lake music. He's got a great video out there. It's called Blake Live at the Olmsted. Link in description for that. You're going to enjoy it. Go check him out live. He's playing the Secret River Show on May 10th. That's all I can say about it. You got to check out his Instagram for more details on that. And then also a lovely little spot playing G-Man Tavern on August 8th. Keep an eye and an ear on the Instagram for that. John, anything you want to say? Blah, 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 blah. Clean take on that.
You were doing so well.
Thanks, yeah. John, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Thank you so much for having me. I am a huge fan of this podcast. I appreciate what you guys do for the local music scene. I think it provides an opportunity for people to talk about their taste in music, talk about what they're doing, and really just like a grassroots music scene doesn't exist without this form of support. So I really appreciate the two of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
So nice.
Yeah.
Well, dang. Well, let's get into the last little silly bit, I guess. To close out this episode, like we do every single episode, we are going to get very, very, very close to the microphone and say a sweet and tender ASMR style goodbye. I will go first. Go to sleep, little shark. Goodbye.
Fuck J.K. Rowling. Goodbye.
Don't get in too much trouble. You might be good at it. Goodbye.